All right, with that, we're looking for Brother Levi, round 3, and get your phones ready. You need your phones.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you again for your attention this morning and the time we've had together. Lots of great discussion after. Thank you for everyone who brought comments to me. This has been something I'm definitely, wrestling with prayer and how to do it more often. What am I praying for? So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to do some polling, and then you'll see what I mean. And then we'll have a chance to react as a group to what we learn. So here's how this works. How often do you pray? If you can, use your phone. You get your phone out and scan this code, that QR code. I can get it a little bigger. You should get it should take you to a website. Someone just turned their phone on. I'm getting all the alerts. It should give you a list of questions. There should just be one question. Should be a list of answers, a list of options to answer. Yes. When you submit it, does it show you the answers? Yeah. Okay. So it won't be a surprise. Well, here's the thing. It's not a surprise to you when you see the answers, but it biases the other answers. So we have to... Don't worry about that. Just answer the question. Sorry. Is anyone still waiting for it to populate on your phone? We're going to be patient, so don't feel any stress if you can't get this to work. This is all we're doing tonight, so no stress, don't worry. If we did this quick, then I'd be done really quick. A few people are still working at it. Okay, so then here's the answers. There's some more. Well, this is great. Obviously, the majority of us are doing well here in praying multiple times a day. A few with just meals only, and a few down a couple times a week. And one honest person said hardly ever. With these polls, I should have said with these polls, please be as honest and kind of as you can. It's all anonymous, obviously. So this is good. Does anyone have any reactions when they see this data? What is it? What does anyone else? Yeah. Anyone have an answer to that? What prayer? Yeah, prayers. Yeah. I think any conversation would be my definition. Yeah. This is a quantity question, not a quality question. There is a quality question later. Any other responses to this? We can come back to it as well, so we'll leave that open. So what season of your praying life are you currently in? What I'm trying to capture here, well, you'll see by the answers, is there's by the questions, is there's kind of I have found in my walk there is a coming and going kind of the strength of my prayer life, right? So here's a quality question. Now again, did it help when I zoomed? Does that make it easier? Okay.
Do we have to scan again?
No, same code. Oh yes, you have to scan this. This is a new code. Sorry, well, not when I make it bigger, but I'm saying. So the answers are kind of, I'm not good at writing these polls. That's one thing I'm learning when I do it. But there's too much data in these answers because you make you feel kind of restricted. But we're trying to gather like. A few people are still working on getting the code scanned, which is okay. It's okay. So our four options were: I feel as close as I ever have, and am praying deeply and often. This one is: I have had. Actually, I can zoom on this. I have had stretches in the past that were more connected and vibrant, but I'm not worried about it. I felt in touch before, but I'm feeling very out of touch now. And I've never had a good praying season of life. So let's see what the results are. Good. So it's a lot more spread out. So the majority, well, not the majority, the largest number in the room feel that yes, I was stronger before, but I'm not feeling that I'm out of touch. People scaling down from there. I find that this information helps me now when I'm trying to have a conversation about prayer. Like we probably maybe should have done this in the first thing in the morning, but we hadn't talked about prayer at all, right? Yet. And I think it's helpful to know this and just recognize that people can be in a different part of their journey than you are. They could, when you talk about prayer to someone, if there's 3 people in the room who have never felt that they've ever been praying well, right? So there's some people who aren't, that this message doesn't really relate to, and if you're a person in that group of I feel as close as I ever have and I'm praying deeply and often, it's hard to, how do you connect when you're talking about how to pray or what to pray about with someone who says I don't even know what a deep and meaningful prayer is, right? That's not what they're saying. I'm exaggerating, but I mean there's a natural, or it's helpful for me to recognize the different places that we can be in. Any other feedback to this one?
There might be a choice between the second and third ones. It's been,
Yeah.
I've had times in the past that were better, and I am concerned. I'd like to move things to the left.
Yeah, you're right. There could be a division there that
Feeling out of touch is a little far.
it's extreme. Yeah, yeah. Anyone else? Just strike them.
The second one, I can answer that seriously and more vibrant, but I'm not worried about it. I am worried about it.
Yeah,
That makes it a little hard too.
that's kind of what Paul. That's what Paul was just saying. Yeah, is just that that I've had stories in the past, and I am worried about it, but maybe I don't feel out of touch. Right, out of touch is more extreme wording. It's hard for I write these, and then when you do them, it's like, oh, we need another one.
We got a room full of senior citizens here.
That's good.
It's a long, long time that they could have been better.
That's true. That's a good point too. It's a good point too.
It's actually interesting to bring that up because I've seen something similar done with a group of younger individuals, and the amount of answers that seemed to indicate there was more searching going on seemed to be a little bit higher.
Yeah. No, yeah, we did. Michael's alluding to that. We did these same classes 2 weeks ago. Michael's the only person who's hearing this twice, and there was, and I changed the question from that one because it was much worse, much more extreme 2 weeks ago. But yeah, there's a lot more searching for ever having feeling connected, right? When you're a younger person, and that wasn't even technically a young people's weekend. It was you had to be at least 25 to go to that weekend, so 25 plus, the 25 plus weekend. Yes, right. More, I think, experience, right, which is a nice way to say being old, but the experience of life. No, the experience of life, and I don't need to tell you this, but I've reached 37, and I definitely am more experienced than I was when I was 27 or 17, and prayer seems much more effective now. How often do you come away with a feeling of a deeper connection after praying? This one's pretty straightforward answers. Always, commonly, half the time, rarely, or never. Hold on, I'm gonna zoom it. Oh. Are there any reactions to this one? So, half a dozen people say they always come away with a deeper connection feeling. 12 people say commonly, 8 say half the time, and 7 say rarely. Thankfully, no one said never.
I did half the time because realistically, sometimes emotionally I'm not even connected to my prayer.
Yeah. Dan shared a story with me earlier that I definitely recognize, where he said a prayer for a meal and then started eating and then realized he had no idea what he had just said. And I think that's I have always been a Christadelphian, always kind of gone through these steps, gone through the motions, and it's very, I feel like I went years at some points where, what was I saying? It's very easy, especially when giving public prayers, to just put together the 8 of the 20 lines that and call it a day.
I don't know. This was not my answer, but I only seem to go. Is that like 55%, 90%?
I didn't want to use percentages. I was imagining 100, 75, 50, 25, 0. That's what I was imagining, but I used words instead of that. Okay. Yeah. You really? You really have to define terms when you're doing this. Oh, good. Thank you. Any other feedback from this one? Anything else strike you?
It becomes a feedback loop, because if you consistently feel the connection, it leads you to want to pray more, and vice versa. If you rarely feel that, you start asking, what's the point? Has this gone anywhere?
That's a good point. Do you pray to Jesus? We kind of mentioned this earlier. I think everyone's got it. Oh, I didn't even see the answers. So 26 people say yes, and 8 people say no. Where'd Michael go?
I have had a problem answering yes for that, because it's not continually that I pray to Jesus.
Yeah, do you sometimes pray to Jesus? That's a good question, yeah. Or do you ever? Where'd Michael go? He left. This was reversed at the Younger People's Weekend 2 weeks ago, where only a few people prayed to Jesus, and the majority said no. It wasn't technically a Young People's Weekend, so it was 25 to 40-year-old people.
They're young people.
Just saying, it wasn't. They're all baptized folks. Any other reactions?
You open the hymn book and start looking at the words of each hymn. A lot of them are prayers to Jesus.
Yeah.
And we sing those hymns.
Yeah.
I think we read a verse where it said, if you ask in my name,
Mm-hmm.
he would asking in his name is talking to him, and so
Yeah.
we'd be praying.
Sometimes they say, when you're praying, are you praying to Jesus or to God? But that's not what he says.
Yeah.
Right? So, do you pray to Jesus or pray to God? I mean,
You can do it at the same time.
that's not out there. So
Yeah, it could have said.
it really simplifies it.
Yeah.
If one of 1,000 times to pray to Jesus, the answer is yes.
Right. Yeah. Well, I guess we could do a question, and I could build it really quick. Is like how often, or what percentage of the time are you speaking only to Jesus?
Yeah, you have to do that. That just says yes or no.
Yeah. Well, but still, there's still a quarter. Wait, about a third. Whatever, between a quarter and a third of the audience that never does. Right here, and when I flipped it with the other crowd, it was 3/4 of the audience never do.
God put Jesus in charge, and Jesus all the way through the scriptures shown to be a mediator.
Right.
And he's the one that picks the heart.
Mm.
Because Jesus is in charge of all in all. And sometimes when we're praying to God, we're still praying to Jesus and he's learning his Father.
Right.
So there's a technicality of it.
Yeah, you could. I made it pretty simple. Have you ever had have you had a specific? Oh man, Have you had a specific prayer answered? So that is bad English. Can I cut that? You get it. In California after the pandemic, a lot of restaurants took the menus away and gave you QR codes. Did you guys have that here too? So we all learned how to use QR codes. That's good. Totally worth the pandemic. I think everyone's got it. Okay. Oh. That's good. I was wondering if I'd get any no's. Yeah.
I was just a little confused with the question because I battled between yes in my lifetime and yes a very recent memory. I mean,
My point is like,
I remember it. Was it even recently?
yeah, recently. Like, oh, sorry. Yeah, right. I was
That's where I was confused.
I didn't. Well, I was most curious about anyone that says no. Right? Do we have someone in the crowd who feels like I'm completely out of touch? So, can you guys? That might make it easier. Someone trying to grab it. When I was thinking about this one, I'm most curious if there are people who are praying and feel that they don't get prayers answered. Right? So we're looking for the no's. But then it was just yes versus no, right? So I was curious because there are some people in their walks, which I don't have an answer. I guess my answer would be yes. In my lifetime, I know that has happened. I could tell you the story, but some people, I think, who are, I would say, stronger prayers than me, or living a stronger prayer life, feel that they have prayers answered very regularly, on a weekly basis. That's what I was kind of trying to. It's a very recent memory. I was trying to catch, like, do you feel prayers are answered for you often, right? That's what I'm attempting.
I was going to say, in this, don't you have to help yourself understand that the answer isn't always yes?
Sure, yeah, different
It
answers.
could be no, and it could be maybe not right now.
Mm-hmm. Any other reactions to this one?
Yeah, kind of a controversy. But have you ever had an issue answered without praying?
Oh, interesting.
Sometimes you're just totally frustrated, and it gets fixed, and then when you think about it, it's like, I didn't fix this on my own.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Or basically, kind of seeing providence, recognizing that you had no part in that. Horst.
I usually pray when I travel. When I get there,
Get their prayers answered.
because I get there safely.
That's a good point. Well, and I did just pray that prayer yesterday, and I arrived safely, so I should have remembered that. Yeah. Got me. I have to change my answer.
But actually, that does bring up a good point, because again, the rational side of my brain says that statistically your chance of arriving somewhere safe
Yeah.
is astronomically high, especially with flight or something.
Yeah.
And to me, an answered prayer is something that is not an astronomically high odds of being achieved. I don't know, but that's what I hear.
There's that cynicism.
Perhaps.
I was flying out to Virginia this last week, and I said, I texted my family, I said, in case I don't make it, I want you to know I love all of you. And they got all excited about that, because they were worried about I was going to make it.
Yeah.
They're already counting the inheritance.
Depends on what you mean by prayer answered. Are you praying? Are you talking about times of trouble and getting answered themselves?
Mhm.
Or are you talking about helping your walk or something? I mean, every time I do an exhortation, I pray about it.
Right.
I do a good exhortation, I figure I got the prayer answered.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's the same thing though. You know?
Yeah, I think that's the same thing. I mean, I was defining specific prayer, like, so that's why I added that word. How I've been using it in my head is that you ask for something specific. You kind of make a specific request, and that is answered. So yeah, you could pray for a effective exhortation. Sherry.
I at night, every night, pray for my children and grandchildren.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that God doesn't want to hear repetition,
Oh.
but I really feel like I have to ask for that
Yeah.
every night. And I go to bed knowing that He's answered my prayer. Does that sound crazy?
No, that's not crazy. We're going to talk about repetition tomorrow morning, so I think we're gonna get to that specific question.
May I speak?
Please.
We come here once every 3 years. I think they have a lot of comforting on any individual. It's not like insurance policy, right? Psychologically, I feel very comforted that knowing that I can communicate with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Once either come true or not, that's not the issue. I think it's more comforting than anything else.
Yeah.
I would have it every prayer than not having it.
Yes.
Like it's kind of like all policy, right? Because you got to have the insurance and not having it.
Uh-huh.
Comforting.
There's a there's a benefit to, I mean, all sorts of, let me figure out how to say this. We don't have a monopoly as Christians or as Christadelphians on on praying, like the concept of praying. Like there's even people, there's a big popular thing to say that you're manifesting. People will say, I'm going to manifest this, or I'm going to take time. Or the gratitude journals are very, very popular now, with no spiritual underpinning at all. Right? Meditation is across all sorts of faiths, right? And so, like, when my prayer life, since my grandfather died, because my grandfather Ken was an amazing praying brother, and I've started, for the first time in my life, I had to actually take notes from my prayers, just because he did. So it's more doing that as a connection to him. And I found, so I'm writing, I'm manifesting. There's a benefit to taking 5 minutes and being quiet, regardless of the faithful reason. Now, I think we have something more special. I would absolutely say that, knowing what we're praying to, and I think having the faith and believing that when we ask for a cancer to be healed, that we're asking that to a God who can do that, right? There's a big difference between that and just journaling or meditating. So yes, but my point is, Steve, that your point is correct in that there is a benefit no matter what to praying. If there's result or no result, there's a benefit to taking the time, being quiet, focusing, thinking about what's important to you. Know that all things work together for good for those who love him. Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah, I think there's a faithfulness to asking, and I think asking specifically for things, and because you're asking for. We're going to talk about this in the exhortation tomorrow too, but you're asking for a result, and recognizing that that result can come, and that is a faithful action in itself to say, you are the God, the creator of the universe, you can do this, please do this. Me as your child, I'm begging you, please do this. Bring this person back to meeting, or heal this cancer, or end this war, or whatever. That's a faithful expression. I think that's a good work for us to do. And all that can be with, at the same time, the knowledge, as we discussed this morning, that the answer can be no. Right? But that doesn't mean, just because the answer could be no, and there's nothing you can do about it, doesn't mean that you shouldn't ask, and I think spend the time in asking. There's a service in that. Let's we can come back to any of these as well. This is the last one. Okay, I forgot how many more I had. So this one's different. You can, this should work. You're going to type in a word, okay? And you can type in that word and submit it. And then if you want, you should be able to keep doing that. So you could submit more than one word. So single word answers. The question is, what is the purpose of prayer? What's the purpose of prayer? And let me know if it works. Are you able to answer multiple times? Can someone confirm if you're able to answer multiple times?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. It's kind of fun to watch it moving, but I'm not able to read it. It'll hold still when we stop answering. But it's okay, we can keep answering because we're gathering more data. So what happens is, we learned this 2 weeks ago too, if you put a space afterwards, it will not combine them. Okay, who's still answering? Stop. I wish it would put connection right way up. There we go. Okay, no more answers. Oh. That'd be good. Don't touch it. Who's still doing it? That's okay. That's okay. I wish it made it, but oh no, someone ruined it. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I mean, it's kind of it's really hard to read any of these words sideways. What's jumping out to people?
There's a split between stuff that helps me and stuff that's not about helping me.
Mm-hmm.
individuals, right? There's a
Oh, interesting.
a give and take. You know, yes, connection. You have to have two things to connect, but you know, the idea of love and praise and gratitude. Some of that can feel one way, but a lot of this is very two-way. Like petition, I would see as much more one way. But asking for guidance, that means you're communicating and then you're waiting for the answer.
Yeah.
So it's back. There's a back and forth to most of those things.
Some of those things are similar.
Yes, there's a lot of synonyms. I'm noticing that too. You could, I wish this program allowed me to like edit this now, because there's some you should combine, and then yeah, if you put a period after, it doesn't join with the other one that is the same word. Well, those people didn't listen to the instructions. But yeah, it's neat. I think that's.
Did you get a similar outcome from your last?
No, very different. Yeah, I have it too. I could compare it, but
I was wondering whether you said that there were a greater number of people who felt disconnected from God. I just wondered whether that was reflected then in
so yeah. It was a little bit of a different question, but there's more of a, yeah, so commanded down here. There was more of that. There was more of that this is required, right? Which,
Younger group?
yes, younger group. So, I mean, again, just slightly more. Connection was number one for them too. And there was two of them for some reason. So same as we have here. So that is, I think that is kind of the overall purpose. There was, we have it there, anxiety, but like the purpose of it is comfort or relief was a bigger one 2 weeks ago. Anything else? Anyone else have any reactions to this one? I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up in a minute here. And we can start singing, but I'll run through all of them. As a reminder, have you had a specific prayer answered? Bad English at the top there. Have you had a specific prayer answered? We had 22 people say yes in my lifetime and 17 people say yes very recently. So also in my lifetime, but very recently, I remember. Do you pray to Jesus? 27 people said yes, 9 people said no. How often do you come away with a feeling of a deeper connection after praying? 6 were always, 12 commonly, 8 half the time, 7 rarely, and thankfully 0 nevers. What season of your praying life are you currently in? I feel as close as I ever have, and I'm praying deeply and often. I've had stretches in the past that were more connected and vibrant, but I'm not worried about it. I felt in touch before, but I'm feeling very out of touch now, and I've never had a good praying season. We had 3 people say that. And how often do you pray? Man, bad English there either too. Rough. 23 people said multiple times a day. 6 people said meals only. 6 people said a couple times a week, and 1 person said hardly ever. Does anyone have any other strong reactions that they want to share before we go over to singing? Yeah.
I'll tell everybody the same anecdote that I told you. Years ago, I knew a person who was an Canadian thing who told me that he's always ever prayed before eating. And then he corrected himself and said, no, once I took a bite of food before I prayed, but I immediately spit it out.
Yeah.
And I presume he was by himself, but I told him to do that at a church hour. But if you've got rigid because it has to, God will get you. Then the prayer life is useless anyway.
My thing is if you're feeling down
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Emily?
Like Sherry said earlier, all prayers are answered, it's just not always the answer that we're asking for. And it's like you said earlier, all of the outcomes of, happily was flexible, wasn't flexible, all those. We're gonna get the answer, it's just, is it the answer that we're asking for? Is it, he's gonna do it his own way, not our way? And, how are we getting from point A to point B? It's not always the line that we ask it to be in, but every single prayer is answered. It's just that how is he choosing to answer it?
Right.
The reason I asked if they were young, because the young ones, you might just say, well, it's a requirement, and they will learn, but as they get older,
Yeah, I think so.
already in the habit. So whenever they say, those that said it was required, it's because probably they're good at learning.
Yeah. Hopefully, yeah. Great. We'll talk more tomorrow.